Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is Word Origins 153. The word origin today is Herculean. Okay, let's take a look at the note. If a person says that someone or something is Herculean, it means that he, she, or it is of extraordinary power, might, strength, size, etc. Or number two here, Herculean can also be used to describe a task or a piece of work that requires a huge amount of effort. Okay, let's continue. The origin of this term comes directly from Greek mythology. It comes directly from Hercules. I don't know if you've ever heard of Hercules before. Very, very famous from Greek mythology. I remember growing up, there was always a lot of movies or something that had something to do with Hercules. He was a great fighter. He was kind of like a superhero of those ancient times. All right, let's continue. Hercules was the son of Zeus and Alcmene. So remember, Zeus was the god of the gods. All right, Alcmene was actually just a regular woman. She was not a god. All right, so let's continue. He was known for his great strength and was most famous for performing the 12 labors in which he had to redeem himself after killing his family, his wife Megara, and his children. Yeah, I remember finding this out. A number of years ago, I taught mythology, but as a kid, I never heard this. They never had that in the movies. And I'm like, huh? Hercules killed his wife and children? Is this correct? Here he's supposed to be some great hero. All right, but let's continue. But you'll soon find out why. Hera, the wife of Zeus, so she is a goddess, of course. And that's another thing, even from teaching mythology, I realize you go back to find out all those stories. The gods back then, they had as many bad vices as humans. They were jealous, they were vengeful, they fooled around like, Zeus was a womanizer. He went around, especially with the pretty human females. This wasn't the only one he had some sex with. All right, let's continue. So he's most famous for performing the 12 labors. Hera, the wife of Zeus, caused Hercules to go mad because she was jealous her husband Zeus impregnated Alcmene. Okay. A mortal, so she was just like a regular woman. Like, how dare she, and Zeus did this, so she was really angry about this. And Hercules was the son, so he was half god and half human. Okay. In his madness, Hercules thought he was fighting monsters, so he didn't purposely kill his family. He didn't want to do that. He didn't realize it until later what he had done. He thought he was fighting off some monsters. To redeem himself, Hercules prayed to the god Apollo, who sent him to serve Eurystheus, the king of Mycenae, at that time. Each of the 12 labors was like Mission Impossible, but he did them. I think it took him 10 years to do it. 10 years of his life he had to make up for this, but he was given these 12 very, very difficult feats to accomplish, and that was supposed to be part of his punishment, to redeem himself. And later on, I think, as the Greek mythology goes, I think Hercules eventually did remarry, I think, a couple of times after that. But is unfortunate about this particular case. All right, let's continue. All right, and we got 3 examples to show how we would use this today. So obviously, Herculean is kind of like an adjective of Hercules, the same way, meaning great strength, great power, or taking a great amount of effort to do something. So here's the first one. It will take a Herculean effort to restore the world economy after the damage done by the coronavirus. Okay. Or number 2 here. It was a Herculean task for the soldiers to take back the beaches of Normandy from the Nazi occupation, on D-Day, World War II. If you ever see any movies like that movie, if you ever seen the movie Saving Private Ryan, with Steven Spielberg, the very beginning of that movie with all those bullets flying around. That gives you an idea what they had to go through in order to take those beaches back. All right, and number 3 here. It was a Herculean effort to try to dig out any survivors from the mudslide. Okay, great. I hope you got it. I hope you enjoyed the origin. Hope it was very informative. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.